it's gonna take a minute for people to jump on, but yeah. So I gotta share this to groups.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're live. Um, I wish I had a light that made this better.
You look glorified. The
Yeah.
illumination.
Yeah. I'm on my laptop because my computer is away for now because we're doing construction upstairs. It's only been like over a year trying to get that done. So that's
Gotcha.
finally like got drywall up, and it's very nice. Oh, there we go. Should turn the light on.
Sharing all this out now.
Yeah.
Let's see who all joins in.
Kind of wish Facebook algorithm didn't suck like it does. And then if you say the algorithm is the problem, people will be like, no, it's not. So yes, it is.
Living through construction sucks. We did it
Yeah.
at the old house when we did a conversion. We converted our garage into a living room slash studio. That was where I worked. And yeah, living through that was awful.
Yeah. So yesterday, the like main contractor guy was like standing by the steps, and then I was like, he's like, yeah, can you just check to see if it's like okay, so the cats can't run upstairs because they put a piece of drywall in the way because they still have to block like two walls that have blown in insulation, and we
Hmm.
just don't want them to get in that. So I checked and I was like, cool. And I grabbed the plastic and I just ripped it down. And he's just like, jeez. And I'm like, you do not understand. It's been like over a year having to deal with a plastic wall. It was so, I was so happy when we finally got to like just take that down.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, it's getting there. They did that pretty fast. So then
That's
they got to
awesome.
drywall a few more things and then mud and tape and paint floors and all that other stuff. God, there's so many groups. So you inked three more pages, and I just saw them. Well, I saw them when you shared them, but I looked at them again.
Heck yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I can't wait for like most of the book takes place. Like the name of the title is called The Harvest, and like
Hmm.
most of the pages are like at this farm, and I can't wait for that part because like
Me too.
it's the first time really that people get to see Shane's personality a lot
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
he doesn't really talk to that many people. Like in issue 1, he's talking to himself.
Hmm.
Uh, in issue 2, he is also doing the same thing, and then he talks to a few new people, and then this one is like there's a lot more people involved. So
There is.
yeah,
And yeah, the scene that we just did. I'm actually proud of the way that I typically hate drawing cars. Hate it. Like if I
yeah,
have to draw like something uber technical, it frustrates me because I just like free flowing. But these came out really well,
yeah,
and yeah, I'm excited for the next couple.
yeah. Well, there's no cars after the
Yeah,
crash, so that's
yeah,
good.
I peeked ahead.
But yeah, but there is a truck, a tractor trailer truck. So
That's all right.
yeah, and did you read the whole script or yeah? So like a certain person that's in. I can't wait.
I know, I know.
I
Like
wrote the thing, but
it,
it's
it which that gets me excited too when I get a sort of peek into like, get a little insight, and I always try to read ahead initially. One, just for that reaction of like what's happening. It's not often that you get to the insider scoop on stuff,
yeah,
let alone bring it to life, which is always really fun for me. But I also like to read ahead and see if there's like any Easter eggs that I can plant ahead. I know at least for my book, I've actually wrote the whole thing out so that I could start dropping Easter eggs in what's chapter 1 for chapter 6. And volume 2 is already plotted, and I've already got some stuff hinted for that. And then long term for the series, that's just I always love the like even like video games and movies and stuff where you see the twist and then you want to go back and watch it or play it
Yeah.
again to see did they leave any little breadcrumbs for us
Yeah.
along the way. So that's what I try to do with my the stories that I get to draw.
Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of breadcrumb kind of stuff in all of our
Mm-hmm.
comics. In the first issue of Scales, it's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain characters, and you're gonna see them again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Seer Chronicles and all that stuff. Ink is, I can't wait because that's like the first time there's like a certain kind of thing happens in any of our comics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice that, and it's for like a split second because it's
She loves to cry.
only like a page or not even. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that page is awesome. So yeah, and people that read your guys' stuff, I think they're going to appreciate the work that you guys have put into each series, because right now they're all their own entities, but then it all kind of is a lot of fun when it comes together at some point. So
yeah, I started writing the like team up series. There's a couple rewards in this Kickstarter that like I'm offering, like someone's likeness would be for the faceless, and then Dylan's so you're doing like, so their face is gonna be on like a character for the faceless. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, but they have masks on, and I was like, okay. And
perfect.
Like, so like he's not gonna have to draw faces, and I was like, he can draw part of a face, like there's like they're gonna get like hit or something, and then the mask is gonna break. Yeah,
yeah,
like
just
like
like
that.
what we did in issue 2, where he's punching him and
Yeah,
you see it sort of breaking.
yeah.
I always picture almost like terracotta style pottery, just whatever their mask are made out of, it just shatters due to the blunt force.
So yeah, they're like, people's faces are gonna be seen at some point, like when they get hurt.
Yeah, there's always ways to do it, and whether they're putting on, taking off, or being knocked off, there's ways to show it.
Yeah, I just have to figure out, like, so the team up series, it starts with a character that no one has seen before, because he was going to have his own series, and then I was like, oh, I can just put him in this, and it'd be like his one shot. Well, not one shot, it's his series, but like every other character is in there, so they're all intertwined. And then it's just called a team up series right now because I don't have a name for the team. Like,
it'll come to you.
Yeah, Dylan's like, what are they supposed to be like? I'm like, they're like the Defenders, but not the Defenders.
Right.
He's like the Offenders, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Call the Offenders. I love it. No.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I had to draw you in a recent book as a personal likeness. Not one of yours. Another one I did for Victor Dandridge. You backed one of his projects, and you personally appear on one of the pages.
Oh, that's
when
cool.
He sent me, there was like 4 people that backed this one tier, and when he sent me the people, I said, "Is that Greg?" He goes, "Yeah." So fun story. His project's next, and so yeah, you make an appearance. I think his book's coming out soon. I know it's all done, ready to go. I already saw the PDF preview, but I don't know when it's going to be out. So be on the lookout, everyone. Greg makes his appearance in a comic.
Oh, I'm in a few different comics.
Yeah,
I like that tier personally. So
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Someone that I try to stray away, like at least in commission wise, I try to stay away from personal likenesses, and that comes from a couple really bad experiences drawing someone's, you know, granddaughters or their deceased grandparents, and they send you a picture that's from the 60s, and you
Yeah,
can't, and they expect you to, I'm like, I draw what I see. I didn't know what they look like, so try to avoid the frustration, but comicizing them, it's actually become really fun to
yeah,
do inside the book. So I think that's a really fun tier for people, especially if you're doing a horror book. You're like, hey, do you want to die in this book? Some people go, heck yeah, let's do that.
there
So
was there was a, well, I think they were a girl. Um, when we did the Scales Kickstarter, they messaged us, and they messaged a bunch of other people that were doing Kickstarters at that time in like March, and they had like this weird fetish that they wanted to be killed off in a comic book, but they had like a specific way they wanted it done.
really,
And I'm like, well, I can't do anything for Scales. It's all drawn. I'm not gonna have it draw another page just for that. And they're like, okay. And like in issue 2, I could like add something, but it doesn't do anything to the story, so it doesn't make any
yeah.
sense. And then they just didn't message back. It's like, all right, I'm not gonna create a whole new character just so I can kill you off. That's
They wanted to be the main the main character.
they wanted to be like a villain, like a I want to be like this villainous person, and then this is how I want to die. And I'm like, why do you want to die?
Right.
Yeah,
It's weird. I've done so many horror comics, and that's always been one of the things. And hey, do you want to be in this casualty event? Do you want to be, off by the main character? It's as close as they can get to, I guess a background role in
yeah,
something entertainment wise. So,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
My friend Matt Myers, he is actually the creator of Chronicles of Horror, and then he basically like just gave us the rights or whatever.
hmm
Um, and in issue 2, in his story, he's one of the zombies that gets like a pitchfork through his head or something.
gotcha.
And it's like, all right,
Hey,
um, yeah, I'm in the background of a bunch of different comics. Like Travis Gibb has Broke Down and Board Head Bodies, or it's like the third or the fourth issue, and I'm in that. I open a card door. That's what I do.
nice.
I'm in Tilt, which is Aaron Cattle's Comics Studios. It's their superhero book, and it's one of my favorite superhero characters. That's like indie comics, besides obviously Ink and Prowl. Um,
Right.
I have to read Prowl, but yeah. So I'm in
Yeah.
that too. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just fun.
It really is. It's something that, as I'm slowly, because I'm on two different books right now, Ink, issue 3, and then another graphic novel. I'll get back to my stuff eventually, uh, you know. But right now, your guys' projects are priority. So yeah, if you read Prowl, great. If not, wait for the graphic novel to come out next year is when we're aiming um, to at least launch and potentially release. I was aiming for October, but the way things kind of have changed recently, it's like, yeah, I got to be realistic, and I'm not going to let the art suffer because I'm just trying to get it done.
Yeah,
I'm all about quality versus quantity. That's one thing I've learned. From here on out, I think I'm only going to do one graphic novel a year, at least for me, unless something sparks an interest to do like a side story or a whole other series or something. But prowl wise, I'm only going to do one book a year. That seems pretty doable uh,
yeah,
with 365 days. I'm sure I can get a book done within that.
yeah. Just how this year Chronicles is going with like we had to switch artists and stuff a bunch.
Mhm.
Um, so Hector is he's doing issues 3 to 6, and then he's gonna remaster 1 and 2, and we've remastered the first issue like a bunch of times. And when I mentioned that to some like Aaron Dallin or whatever, he's like, "Ugh, why are you gonna remaster it?" And I'm like, this is how I want it done. And he's like, "Yeah, but you could just." Um, so yeah, he's gonna do that, and when we have all 6 for the first plot arc like collected, and then I have to get another artist for the next plot arc because he said he can only do up to 6 because he's planning his life out with a bunch of other stuff. So he doesn't want to like say he'll do like issue 7 to 10 or whatever it is. So I'm gonna make 7 to 10 a graphic novel instead, and then I can release certain parts as different issues. But I want it all done at one time by an artist, not this is issue 7, here you go, and release that on Kickstarter. Wait for 8 because it's taken, I think, way too long to have that series come out when it's our main series.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that I don't think everyone understands how much goes into creating. I know I did when I started out. I had absolutely no clue.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was faster than it was. Because when I first started, I was like, "Oh, I'll just have an artist, and they'll just do our stuff, and that's it." But that's not how that works.
No, sadly, like it used to be, but man, the way like cons used to be a lot different, so that we could make our money there. At least for me, make my money there, and then coast off of that on projects and commissions. But now, man, it's a lot harder, which is why I've cut out so many shows this year. I've literally cut it down to only a third of what I normally do. I've only got like 4 events left for the year.
Huh.
One of them's coming up in a couple weeks. So
our goal for this year is just do 4. So
yeah.
We did 1 so far, and we're gonna do another one. There's one that we just signed up for and paid and stuff, and that's in October. And then we're gonna do the one that we did in May. We're doing again in November. We just have to sign up, and I keep telling Dylan, I'm gonna sign up because that was a very good comp for us, and we were just in a really good spot. Our table was like there was no like competitor people around, so there was a Pokemon card dealer or whatever across from us. Next to us on the left was Pop Funko people. We don't sell those. And then to the right is like plushie people. We do sell those, but I didn't have any. And then
when it's your own stuff.
Yeah. And then feet away are the celebrities, and and we were in the middle of 2 of the celebrities or 3 that people actually wanted to talk to. The guy that does Resident Evil, or not Resident Evil. Wait, yes, I think he does that too. I don't know. I never played the game or watched any of the movies. But he also does Snake in like Metal Gear Solid.
Really?
Yeah, so he's the voice actor for that. So his line went from the table to like out the door, around like outside. So those people had to come to our table, just how it flowed. And then there's a really tall guy that voices this one character in One Piece. He does a bunch of other characters, but he does a character in One Piece, and people want to talk to him too. So yeah, we were in a very good spot. And our pitch to get people to the table were, do you like cats? And then that just sets everything else up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's once you get someone's hook, like one of my friends, his book is about the Universal monsters fighting in World War II. So the pitch was, do you like Universal monsters? And they'll say, yeah. And he's like, well, do you hate Nazis? And hopefully they say, yeah. And he goes, well, then I got a book for you. And that was his hook.
That's
And
cool.
it
Yeah.
worked out great. I'm
We
like,
need
man,
yeah.
I need to do something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh Mittens is just it was really easy to like market. Like cats in space. Like that. It was very easy. And then doing your own superheroes is a little bit harder, I think. But
It is.
um, but it was easier at that convention because so in the first issue, the tattoo convention actually takes place in the building that we had our like the convention in.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, oh, you know that this tattoo convention, and I like flipped to the page. They're like, yeah, I'm like this happens in this building, and they're like, oh, and I'm like,
That's
and
so
then the
cool.
tattoo artist is based on my tattoo artist now. It's like 15 minutes away. They're like, that's cool, and so they like bought ink because
Heck yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
you tug on their nostalgia or their if they're local especially.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I like it.
scales. It's a made up city and stuff, so that's a little hard.
Man, let me made up cities. The reason I made up a city was because I thought it was going to be easier than writing within a real world. I wish I would have just picked a real world city and just ran with it and just made my own elements for it.
Yeah,
Way easier, but no.
yeah,
Making the map, trying to make sure that the locations are accurate and make sense on page versus what. Yeah,
yeah. That's
I
what.
need a map maker for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need a map maker. But
I'm with, yeah,
yeah,
like the actual roads and locations and building names. Like I have all the buildings wrote out and some of the street names. I just don't have it. I have like this free thing that I found online, but at the end of the day, I still have to draw it out and make it,
yeah.
look presentable. Because I think it'd be cool to include in a book at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like so for the third and final issue of Chronicles of Horror anthology, we're gonna put like the camp map because it takes place at like a camp within
Mm.
a show that's made up. Um, so it's like Friday the 13th meets the Truman Show.
Oh, nice.
That's literally the pitch, and I told not been enough people that I told everybody that is kind of interested in like doing something for it. I just said that they're like, that sounds cool. I was like, it's not Cabin in the Woods. It's not that. Like
I love that's
it's
my
it,
favorite
it's different.
spook movie. I love that one. Cabin in
Yeah,
the Woods is like my guilty pleasure.
yeah. I would do more horror stuff. I just don't have. I can't write.
It's
I don't know what to write that would be because
look,
I honestly am.
um,
I'm like when I watch horror movies, it's just because I like them, but I'm
yeah,
not really scared of them at all.
no,
Only thing that's freaked me out in any horror movie I watched was I watched Insidious, and
yeah,
it's that like fire demon thing
mm-hmm,
that they show.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird. And then in The Exorcist, the only thing in that is the demon that flashes on the screen for 5 seconds. That's it.
Yeah,
Because after watching that for the first time, I like before you open the fridge, there's like it's like dark, and then it turns to the light. I saw like the demon face like before I opened the fridge. I was like, ah. But like that's the only two things that ever like affected me. Like any Chucky movie, like that doesn't do anything to me. Annabelle didn't do anything. It is
mine
dolls
was
are creepy, but like I don't.
yeah. It the original was the only thing that really got me as a kid.
I don't see. I don't get why. I don't know.
I really don't know, but I remember in high school I was a wrestler and my match had just ended, so I had to go
Shower.
take my shower. Yeah, the shower scene, the shower at the school looked identical to that scene, and it had the one drain in the middle, all shower heads, and I was the only one in there, and I'm like, that was the fastest shower I ever took. I'm like, I watched that. I'm like, I know this is not real, but yeah, I'm coming home after this meet. Like it was ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get any of that because of the internet was being stupid. But
I was gonna say it looked like
who's
you
the
froze for a second.
yeah?
But
Who's the character that's like in the shower at the time? I forgot his name.
I
Which
can't
one
remember
was it?
his name. I think
Is
it's
it?
I don't know if he's the asthmatic kid.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, but
It's like yeah. So I
yeah, that was the only one that really got me. That and Puppet Masters. It was really just the puppets themselves were kind of creepy. Uh,
I tried what so well I actually watched them, but like I tried watching the first one like years ago, like with my friend Dave, and then I just like just bored by it. And then I watched a lot of horror movies when I was a security guard because I had nothing else to
yeah,
do. So
yeah,
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is actually like okay. Um, and like they're supposed to be like evil puppets, but they actually like I don't find them to be that bad because they're like killing certain people that are like
evil.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
uh, just
well, they're
like
good in my book.
well, Friday the 13th is my favorite series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Well, he is bad. Like he's killing like teenagers. um, I
Little
don't know.
sinful teenagers, little heathens.
Yeah.
No, horror. I having worked on a lot of horror comic books. There's definitely a market for it, but I find them very hard to pitch and sell at a normal comic convention.
Yeah.
People are there for the capes and tights. They want that superhero. Most of the people at cons are there for their own collections, or if you did something on a mainstream title. It's very hard to get a new indie series in someone's hand,
hmm
at least in Artist Alley. So my wife and I have been talking. I think next year, with all of our changes here at home, I think next year we're going to do a select few shows, maybe some bigger shows, but we're not going to do Artist Alley. I'm actually going to make the investment and do an actual 10 by 10 vendor space,
Oh, yeah.
more retail, space, so I can actually set up some cool displays. One thing that I really want to start incorporating is sort of like a an experience type area. I have this 9 foot tall werewolf that I still got to piece together, and eventually I'd love to travel with it, set it up, get people to get pictures with it. Maybe they donate a few bucks towards, you know, either Sub Zero Mission or Heroes Initiative or Comic Book for Cancer, just something worthwhile. So people are there for experiences, so I kind of want to give them something other than hey, buy my book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, we've only done 3 conventions so far, but at each one we tried to do some kind of game or something. If like somebody comes up to the table. So the first two we had these dice from Seer Chronicles 2, and they're like the dice that are in the comic. They look exactly the same. So I was like, oh, so Dylan came up with a game. If you roll like a pair, you'll get something for free. So we did that both of the first 2 conventions. There's only at the second convention there was a girl that won that was dressed up like Ringo Starr. She was the only one that won like actually won that game. So I was like, oh yeah, just pick something, and she like picked like a tuna sandwich sticker or something. And I was like, you could like grab another thing, like it's fine. She's like, oh okay. And then she like walked away. I was like, yeah, it's fine. At the third convention, like the best one that we've done so far, uh, it turned into a game because like nobody could guess this video game. So we have this like these Nintendo 64 like parody art prints for mittens.
hmm
So the first one is Star Fox. The second one is Smash Brothers, like 64. And then the third one is Diddy Kong Racing. And it's really weird that people didn't know what that was And I was like, you didn't play this? Like, what? So like
Mm.
we just anybody that comes up and they're like looking at them like hard, and I'm like, do you know what game that is? And they're like, is it like Crash? I'm like, no, it's a 64 game. Come on. And they're like, Mario Kart? And I'm like, no, it's not Mario Kart. We were gonna do
That's
Mario Kart.
that's really good. Yeah. Erica Lane, the author that I do her covers for her novels. Anytime we're at a show together, we always try to do some sort of partner thing where it's if you buy from me, buy from her, your next purchase you'll get a discount or you'll get something for free from both of us. We actually did scratch off cards one time where if you purchased from she made scratch off tickets. You can buy the little stickers and put on that you can scratch away. So I designed up the cards, she assembled them, and if they spent $20 at my table, $20 at hers, um, they got a scratch off, and then whatever they scratched off and won because we didn't know it was random. Um, they were able to get that. It could have been a discount, 10%, 20%, 50% was one of the big ones. There was a free sketch from me. There was only like two of those in the stack. Uh, like discount on a book, a free print, just little things, and people loved it. We had one person they bought from me, bought from her, got a discount on something. They picked me from me, and they said, "Well, I might as well buy from her again." So they did twice, and they got like it would just kind of kept feeding itself. So yeah, they absolutely loved the scratch off tickets. It was relatively cheap to get the little like half-inch or 1-inch circles. So yeah, we'll see your
Yeah,
Nova
not a
scratch
bad
off
time.
tickets.
Yeah. We had Pokemon parody cards from the second Mittens Kickstarter, and we had like a couple of those left, like 2 sets. And there were a couple of people that like a lot of people looked at the mid stuff first. It's a cat in space, so and they're um, looking at the Pokemon cards and like, oh, these are really cool. It's like, yeah, Pokemon. Don't buy the Pokemon cards
Mhm.
over there. Buy these because they're original characters. And they're like, well, how much is this? And I was like, I think they were like $5 or whatever they were because they're like very easy, like cheap to make. Besides, paying to get the art done. Uh, so we sold both of those like pretty fast. I was like, yeah, I guess. And then I'm like, well, that's it of those. And then Dylan's like, we could print them again. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we can print them again.
Mhm.
I kind
Yeah.
of don't want to print the Pokemon ones again. So, all right.
Hey, if it works and people love them,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
But
Every campaign we do a trading card, like an hour like version of a trading card. So like for this one we have the ink one that was from the last one.
mhm.
So that's like what we're originally offering. And then when we hit a certain stretch goal, I think it's 4,000. I think that's what it is.
I'm actually pulling it up now.
Yeah. I have it pinned because I don't remember. There's a million things here. Yeah, 4,000. There's a trading card set. So it's going to be the characters that you haven't drawn yet. But so it's the farmer, and I couldn't think of like I knew like what the farmer looked like in my head.
Mhm.
And then Dylan's like, yeah, so like what? What's he look like? And I'm like, just wait. So then I like just typed in Pet Cemetery and like it's this guy. And he's like, oh, I never watched that. And I was like, okay. So there's the farmer, and then there's these two. The one dude is the guy in the club that you already drew,
Mhm.
and then there's the two other guys that are definitely not ripoffs from Of Mice and Men. So because their names were really close to their names, and then Dylan's like, we have to change that. It's way too close. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not the first time. You know,
Yeah.
the whole cover conversation.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
I still can't believe that.
yeah. That was insane because like I was like, hey, so we have this really cool cover, but someone somehow drew the idea, and they're like,
Very
and
similar.
I sent that to Josh too, and I'm like, hey, this like happened, which is really weird. Like I didn't know this cover existed. I didn't know the comic existed, and then he's like, that's crazy, and I was like, yeah, like
Out,
we
out of
just
every
somehow had this.
concept, every angle,
The only
down to
thing,
the field, the
yeah,
fire was the only difference.
the cover doesn't have crows, but in the actual scene, there's
Yeah.
crows. And then there's no fire. Like the fire, I think there might be a fire at the end of the comic, but yeah, I think there is. But like, not at that scene. There's no fire, so it's
Right.
like I'm like that's so crazy.
I could not believe it when I just happened to be scrolling through Instagram and I saw Jason's post. I went, "Are you kidding?" Because he's one of my favorite artists, so he comes up frequently on my feed, and I saw that and I went, so I'm gonna wait for the graphic novel for that series to come out so I can read it. But so I really like the design of the characters. I have no idea what it's about, but looks sweet. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm looking at all your stuff, the trading cards.
yeah,
That that scene, what we talked about earlier about the mask being busted. That's a great looking card.
yeah.
Now,
We
what's
like.
on the back of your cards? Are they just front art or is it just your logo?
I would show you, but I don't know which one of these bins have this. um, so it's like an X-Men card, like from the '90s or whatever. So on the back, there's like bio.
Like
So
bios and stats and stuff?
yeah, so it like so for there's a scales one. Oh, where's that? It's over there. I'm not gonna get up. So for the scales one for the Kickstarter we just did in March, he's a kid, so he doesn't have like anything
Hmm.
crazy. So like I had to come up with something, and that was actually kind of hard because he doesn't have powers because he's a kid. So I was like, his skill is like being a skilled gamer or whatever. And
Yeah.
so in the bio, I add like kind of Easter egg stuff, and you'll see that at some point through some other way in one of our other comics or just in another issue of that series. So for Ink, I don't even remember what I put, but it talks about like his powers and certain things. I really don't remember the bio that I put for that, but
Hmm.
yeah. So it tells like where he's born, um, like the country that they live in, which is Whitmire. That's what it's called. All those names are made up. So you have a city that is we have countries and it's
Yeah.
yeah. In the original issue of Ink of the first one, he goes to Japan, and then I told Jerome. I think I told. Oh yeah, I did tell Jerome. I was like, by the way, we're gonna remaster the first issue when we do the trade. There's a thing that definitely has to get changed in issue one, and it's the location he goes to. It's not Japan. We called it Mountain Mount Camon or however you say it. I can't say it.
Hmm.
It's literally a name that we made up, and we look into things like through Google, and we're like, what's the meaning of this?
Yes.
Yeah, so it all means things. The drug imp that's in
Hmm.
ink, it actually like Imperioku, that's the full name, and that actually like means control. So that's 100% like we have themes for all of our comics. Like for the first plot arc of every single character that's going to be in that team up book, it's the theme is control, and like people won't really get like why. but there's a reason. There's a story. But yeah, each of those characters have like a certain different thing that they're trying to control, and you know, they're also trying to like stop other people from controlling people. Like imp, like if you take the drug enough, it starts to control you.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a whole theme behind that. I didn't
I
just write a
like it.
comic. Yeah. um, but yeah, so I like the trading card thing, so that's why I always do it. Um,
Yeah. Someone that works for a trading card company. It's really cool.
yeah. Uh,
You can
we
even offer sketch cards. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, for the trade, I actually kind of want to do that because I talked to you
I'm
about
down.
that. Yeah,
Just letting you know, I'm down.
yeah,
So,
because I couldn't think of any rewards for this one because I was like,
mhm.
okay, so we don't have like the whole book done yet, so we can do this. And then I was like, oh, I wanted to always offer like a music thing, but I didn't have it in any of the comics.
Yeah,
In this issue, he's in a nightclub. I was like, ooh, Dylan
there you
literally has a music company. So I was like, is there any music like that I can use that you have? And then they're like, oh yeah, you can like use like these 5 songs from some EDM thing, which I'm not a fan of that kind of music, but that it's part of the story. So and I'm like, yeah, this
yeah.
is gonna be the music that plays in the nightclub while he's in the nightclub. So
I I was actually just scrolling through looking at the colors that he did on the nightclub scene. I can just that takes me back to my college days of clubbing.
yeah, I never,
I love it.
yeah, I never really did that. So if I was at a club, it's because I was forced by like a friend. Like, yeah, we're here. I was like, I like we went to one for one of my friend's birthdays. I was literally standing there. I didn't like the music, and I was just like, I don't want to be here. So I was just standing there the entire time. And they're like, why don't you like
Yeah,
look like you want to be here? I'm like, well, I don't. So I'm not gonna
right.
just.
It's an interesting atmosphere. It really is.
And it's funny
Uh,
because like my best friend is me. Like he's an introvert too. So it's like I'm like,
hmm
how are you okay with this?
right.
No, I guess if you
But
drink enough, it affects you. I drank like one drink and I was just like, this is not me. So
that that was me. Still is. I wasn't a big drinker in
yeah,
school, or still
yeah,
aren't. But I like music, so
yeah,
I always have music blaring in my studio while I'm working, and yeah, I that's just how I'm able to focus.
yeah.
Man,
I've been asked on podcasts and stuff like, oh, do you listen to music when you? And yeah, we actually filled a thing out for our website. Like we had to like he was trying to figure out all this like stuff to figure out my voice so our website would like reflect that within our company and the
hmm
internet and
man,
internet, come on, yeah, it's because I'm on wi-fi and I don't think I can connect to my router with my laptop. No, I don't know how I would do that. So
wow.
um,
Well, it looks like you guys have 20 backers now, so
yeah,
you're getting up there. Got 20 backers, $689
yeah,
of 100.
we're over the 50% mark, which is good because
Yeah,
you should have 30% by the third day, and we're technically not on the third day. How many days has it been?
yeah. How long did you do it?
31 days.
Yeah,
30, yeah,
is
whatever.
it
So
31 days? Yeah, because you're at 27 right now. 27 days to go, so you're just at what, four?
yeah,
Day
so
four, so
whatever.
not bad.
And like I've done kind of as much promotion as like think I can do right now. Like besides the
hmm
cross promotion with other people, um, I like I posted on Facebook enough. Like obviously, I'm gonna keep doing it, but I've done Twitter. Like on scales, I didn't really do Twitter because it's like it seems like I'm just yelling into the void. Um, Instagram, their algorithm is like not good
What about
either.
TikTok?
That's a thing that I have to start doing because I did that for scales, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it worked, but I did do a lot of videos when I was doing the scales Kickstarter. Um, but yeah, I just have to find the time to actually do TikToks again.
What I
And
should do, especially now, I mean, I pencil everything digitally, and Procreate records everything.
oh yeah,
Um, and these last 3 pages were inked. Heck, even the cover, the whole cover is digital. So I might, I'll download the like the sort of the long version
mhm.
of progresses, so people can kind of see and send them to you. Those you can easily use those as promo stuff on
Oh yeah,
TikTok or Reels or whatever, just to sort of help. So
yeah,
yeah, I'll try to get that recorded or downloaded tomorrow and see about sending them to you. Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be
Um,
awesome.
the one
People like
thing
to see
about this,
progress.
yeah, the one thing about this campaign than all the other ones that we've done is we have yet to have a trailer. Like, it's like so I didn't really want to make it because I'm not the greatest at that. It's kind of like eh.
Hmm.
Jr. usually can do it, but he's like busy with 1,000 other things. And then Dylan was really busy, so he had somebody else start doing it. But then he kind of was like confused on how to make a trailer for comics because the guy's like really good at like video editing and stuff, but he's never done it for like a comic book and for like a Kickstarter or anything. So he was like looking at a bunch of others, and then he was looking at the one that Dylan made for issue 1 and 2. He's like, okay, I guess I can see what you're trying to do. So he's like trying to like copy that in a way, but like in his own way. And I guess
Hmm.
it's like really hard. Plus, he doesn't really know the story, even though we you can read it. But yeah,
I
I don't
think a
know.
trailer would be hard to do, like, well, especially for like issue 3 because the artwork's still being made. If
Yeah,
you had like everything done, I think it'd be a lot easier to do.
yeah. I said that to Dylan. I was like, the bulk of the story is at the farm. He's like, yeah. I was like, so I have no idea how you can do a trailer. Like, I want a trailer, but I have no idea how to get it done because most of the story happens at the farm, and that's just how it's written, and
Yeah.
that's that's the main focus of that issue. So
I'm thinking when you guys do your trade, um, combine everything, that would be the time to have a really, badass trailer.
oh yeah, we're gonna definitely do that. Yeah, I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna
Go all
have,
in. It'll be
I'm
a
probably
lot
gonna
easier. Yeah,
I'll probably
that's kind of, my thinking about why I switched over formats to a graphic novel versus individual comics. The the juggling and of the inventory, you know, you'll never have an equal amount unless you sell them absolutely as batches. It's then at that point you might as well just have the trade. So
yeah. So,
yeah,
like next year is a bunch of trades. So we're gonna have ink,
yeah,
mittens, and Chronicles of Horror because the third
Chronicles,
issue is not gonna just be three; it's gonna be a whole trade.
yeah,
So I want to finish it.
yeah,
um, not that I hate it. It's just like there's so many things I have to do, and I want that to get done. So
hmm,
uh, yeah. So there's that. But yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of trades out, which is insane, and we can still sell like the signal single ones, but we'll be like,
hmm,
oh, this is the whole story.
yeah.
Uh,
You know,
yeah. So
it's it's definitely a whole big learning curve for sure
yeah,
in indie comics, and I've been at this for almost 9 years, and yeah, I still learn every day. And going to cons, it's never the same. Sometimes it's Batman, sometimes it's Spider-Man, sometimes it's anime. You just you can never predict what is going to be popular. And when you're trying to push your own stuff, you got to find that right person um, who would be interested in it, and you got to try to catch them. So yeah,
They for ink they were mostly hooked because of the cover, and then I was like, oh, by the way, we have like this many masks for issue 2, which I'm never doing again because it confused me when I was
yeah,
filling.
that
It,
that was
it,
confusing, but
yeah,
I loved it.
yeah, it confused this one guy. He messaged us on Instagram. He's like, it's the same cover, and I was like, look again, and then they're like, oh, okay, and I was like, yeah, it's different masks. But when I was fulfilling, I can see why people got confused
We
because
should do
I
a
was like,
print with those.
yeah, there's a lot of faceless stuff that I want to do because
I'm making a note.
yeah, so I don't
I have an
know.
idea. How many mask or covers did we do? 6.
There's 6, yeah, and then the 7th one was this other variant cover that
Yeah.
didn't come out the way that I wanted it. It looks more like me than Shane, I think. I don't
Oh, from Eric,
from
I think.
uh,
Yeah, Eric Franklin.
no.
Oh, not that
From
one.
for issue 2, there's I'll find it. I
Is
don't
it
care.
offered up as a
It's not in this one because I'm just trying to like it's not
gotcha.
terrible. Like the art's good. It's just like it's that doesn't look like Shane to me because I think it
Yeah.
kind of looks like me. And then like so the amount that I printed for that, I'm just trying to sell those at the at a convention. And then I said to Dylan, I'm like, this is the one cover like I'm retiring after it's sold. He's like, okay. I was like, yeah, it's not bad. It's just like I paid for it, and then it took like over a year, and so I will
So,
share this here.
can you see that?
Uh, the faceless print. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
So have all the different masks and then put their logo like right there in the middle. Since
oh
it's like black on one side,
yeah.
it would just look like it's all fading. So I might try to knock something out like that for fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, add it in or do whatever you want with it. It'd just be
Yeah,
something fun to do. The faceless are so fun to draw.
yeah.
Honestly, I
They're
thoroughly enjoy. So far, I think those are my favorite out of ink to create.
I so when I make comics, I make characters and I try to be George R. R. Martin and kill them off. And then Dylan's like, "Why are you killing off all your characters?" So um, the farmer character that's in this
Hmm.
is going to be in another comic, like at some point. I don't know when, but Dylan's like, this is like a really good character, and these other two guys are really good, so we should keep them around. And I was like, okay, so we'll keep them around. So they're going to be in like some other plot for Ink at some point, but it's going to be a while because um, slightly spoiler alert. So there's a after the team up series, something happens at the end of that to Ink, and he's not going to be around for like the second plot arc of like scales and stuff. He's going to be in the Noctum realm. So yeah, he's going to be in like our netherworld, and his like nemesis character that he's going to like make I don't know why this is being so stupid. Yeah, so he's gonna be in like our netherworld thing for like 3 issues. So the second plot arc of Ink takes place there the entire time. So I think the coloring is gonna be pretty easy for February because the sky is like red the entire time, and it's like a wasteland. So there's nothing around. It's just
So there's like no buildings.
it's basically like an apocalypse happened, but it's literally just broken buildings. Yeah, so you don't have to draw like crazy. It's literally like there's broken buildings and stuff, and it's him
I'm for that.
wandering, and then it's really horror because there's these like creepy creatures and stuff. It's kind of like Stranger Things kind of creatures. So that's like I
And I'm
can't
in
wait
for that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is like that's the second plot arc. He's got to deal with all that stuff, and I just can't wait for that because that's after the team up thing. But which I was gonna have you do the team up thing, but I don't know if you can do that if you're doing scales, and that's technically another comic book. So I don't know because you do 2 of the characters that are in that. So,
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be 3 issues because it was going to be a one shot, and then Dylan's like, "Why don't you just do 3 issues?" And I was like, "Okay," because it was a really long story originally, and then I like made it so it's now 3. So so enough that
Makes
the
sense.
story is told and not rushed. But yeah, I can't wait for the second plot arc of Ake because that's he has to learn like dark magic in order to like kind of survive. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's good.
Yeah. But
Trying to find.
and there's
Ink.
an Easter egg in issue 2. Um, and actually, there's a lot of Easter eggs in issue 2, but people have to actually like have the physical version because in the physical version has the decoder and like the Noctum thing, and that's like an alphabet that we completely created and everything. And if you actually decode everything that Dylan put, like he took the time to put all these like stories in these books, the book that is in that flashback scene. That's actual like it's a story that's being told. It's not like gibberish. So if someone actually decodes that, like I don't know, you get I'll give you something, but
Yeah.
It actually tells you like what's basically going to happen in the future to Ink. So because it's like a prophecy, and there's a picture that you drew that's in that book that's happens in the team up series. So yeah,
That's awesome.
like,
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking at the file I made for Ink 2 and looking
what?
at the different ranks.
Yeah.
Because I think we can make that print happen easily.
Cool. Oh yeah, and then there's these other characters. So there's the faceless, but then in the team up book, you'll be drawing these people at some point. There's like these like shadow ninja people, so they arrive when this like main bad guy arrives. So you'll be able to draw those like at some point in the Ink series.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets like pretty horror like at that point. I can't wait for that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm loving Ink so far.
Yeah. And I can't wait for Scales too, because he's got powers and stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So lots of crazy things going for sure.
Um, but yeah, so I'll probably end it here because I don't
Yep.
want the internet to be stupid. But for those people that actually like watch this or are gonna watch it, Back Inc. We're over the 50% mark, so that'd be nice if we get funded soon. Um, because we have some cool stretch goals. There's gonna be a whole commentary thing, kind of like this, but more in detail. That me and Dylan will be doing. I'm gonna force him to do it, and and that's one of the stretch goals. Then there's the trading card set of characters that no one has seen yet, besides me in my head, and Adam when he read the script. So that's the only people who've seen it. um,
Yeah. Yeah, that was
so
me.
yeah,
Yeah. Figure give people easy access to it.